So, welcome, August Magic. Here we are. So, as I was saying, some of you are finished this class in September. So, I'm going to notify you. I want to do initiations. The Samhain, of course, you can choose the full moon to get initiated. But I think the full moon is before the class. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check timing on that. I just got home from the road, so I'm still grounding. um, but because we are going into initiation, that is something that I wanted to do tonight. So let me grab this. I want to go over the different levels of initiation, okay? And then we are going to do an invocation as well. So I hope you have a candle. Don't light it yet. If you do have it lit, that's okay. But let me get to my work and move my keyboard. Oh, I can't believe it. How did a year go by? There we go. So here we are in August. So I want to talk a little bit about the magic of August first, and then go into the 3 different initiations that you're probably going to be doing in your future as a high priestess, and also do an invocation. So the month of August is very sacred, and it's actually known as the red moon month. So you may notice that the moon is oranger than normal, right? We're starting to get into autumn, so the colors change, but it also represents all of the hardships that we've experienced up until now on our path. So we are in our first place of harvest, right? But we have also all experienced major hardships up until now, and have also learned that what it feels like to strive. Think about all the ways you've strived this year, right? You did it. And now that you know how to thrive in those situations, this is a time where you do want to kind of take note and journal that, because your hardships are you've mastered, and they're part of your teaching. So whatever comes up this month is coming to an end, so that you can harvest what it is. And we have a very expansive nature that magnetizes the very best that earth can offer. We can channel and tap into the powers of the earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. And as we walk, the soles of our feet actually do receive the energy of the earth. So walking this path, your path this month, is very sacred, because the earth energizes us through this month. And it's quite easy for us to attract the things and the ways in our life to succeed. So we can find out guidance on how to receive help in certain aspects. Whatever hardships we are dealing this month with, that's what you want to ask the universe to help you, to give me that succeed. It's time for me to succeed. Anything that's up, you're meant to succeed. So trust the challenges are for your benefit. And it's really uncanny how resources will come together that have to suit our purpose. So people who's crossing your paths, right? People who are connected to you this month, they all have a purpose, and it has to do with your purpose, okay? And sometimes we can take this for granted. But if you actually claim your natural pace and have your focus in mind on what you want to experience this next month, then you will be able to give thanks with the gratefulness that's delivered to you. So trust your hardships, ask for the wisdom that you're meant to teach to others. A lot of times when we experience hardships on our path, it does have to do with how we can teach others. Most of the times, the hardships are connected to others. So this month has magic in solutions. And if you choose to honor this energy at your fingertips and communicate with the universe and the spirit world, of course, then this month you'll find that you will be extremely protected. And you will also be extremely protective of friends, family, and the things that you believe in, including the power of the earth. So this is a month where we get called from the universe to be at service when it comes to doing a protection over what it is that you're speaking. Okay. So this month, do a protection. I am going to be doing a full smudge, and then I do a protection with other herbs, a protection blend. And then I'll also light something that's going to call in what I want. Okay. But the universe will call you to do a protection over something this month, whether it's a family member, you driving, whatever. Just when it comes up, do it, because you are that channel of power. And you have to remember that the universe uses us. That's why we're healers. That's why we are intuitive, because we are that channel for the universe to change people in the world that we live in. Can you, I was just saying with some friends here, like, can you imagine if everyone was in a good mood one day? And she's like, can you imagine if every single person smudged? One day, if everyone smudged, the world, I believe, would be a whole different place. Because we need to, that's what we do as healers, as people. When we believe in ourselves, we're breaking the curses of the negative consciousness that tries to take us over. And the only way the negative consciousness of our world can get us is through sickness, hate, envy, and challenges, right? Like, think about all those negative things. So when you're fighting your challenges, you're fighting the challenges of the world. You are. You're doing it for everyone. Just like when you're calling in your magic and success, we need more of that in this world. So you're going to be called to do some kind of protection in your life, and trust it. That is where you get to tap into the power of protection. But you'll also be able to notice that when you perform protections in your magic or over others, it will be more powerful than last year or when you've done it before. And maybe you haven't done one yet. Maybe you haven't smudged your place or cleansed it, however you cleanse it, and then place a protection over it and the people in it. So do that. And this month we are meant to awaken and actually see the world from the spirit's eyes. So if you cleanse, burn some protection herbs, you will awaken your spiritual eyes. Remember, the veil is going to start to thin. So the spirits around us are preparing us. They want us to connect to that world. So the world, spirit eyes are opening up. So if you're remembering your dreams more, if you're getting more visions and ideas or daydreams, anything that's visual, synchronicities, you are on your path. Those are all signs that you can trust where you're at. And the spirit's eyes are there to show us and to open us up. And you may not like this part, but they may open us up to other points of view. I mean, if you think about why we communicate with the spirit world, it's because we want to know the spirit's world and their point of view, right? Like I said to my hubby, I'm like he is a Virgo and he is like very strong minded. And I'm like Fluttery. That's what he says. I'm fluttery and he's grounded. And I'm like, okay, but let's think about it this way. Well, you're coming up with one idea. I'm listening to 5 spirits giving me their idea. So your one idea, I get 5 ideas in the same amount of time. I said, and all 5 of those ideas that spirits gave me will work. It's just which one has the best idea, right? And it's true. So the spirit world, when we communicate, we're seeing through their point of view. And I notice that when I do my readings and stuff, a lot of times we'll pick up their personality or their mood or their illness, right? But the power of this month is about our own personal perseverance. And this is a time where we can seek to attain and bring responsibility and connection to our stamina, our determination, as well as the manifesting frequencies. So when you deal with your challenges, there's frequency in that, and the power of your frequency is going to manifest and bring to you the fruition that is opposite of the challenge. That's what I love about this month. Is it's almost like, I don't want to say it's a karmic balancing month, because it's not. It's going into next month, but the connection and the energies that we get are all connected to the celestial realm, the upper world. So we are communicating with upper world spirits this month. As the veil thins and we get to the end of the year, we start to communicate with underworld spirits. So this month is all about the connection to the celestial realms. You want to look for that fuzzy psychic energy in your bedroom at night, right? You want to look for signs in the sky, in the clouds in the day, or the stars. So these energies that are in play have to do with higher realms. And higher realm energies and spirits are divine. And underworld spirits, not all of them are divine, but most of them are. I believe. It's this world, that's got a little question marks on those spirits. But but the reason why the celestial realm is present and we have our ancestor power coming forward is because they're helping us be prepared for the next full moon, the full moon of September. And the full moon of September is the one that helps us release the energy that we need to. So we go into a place of releasing. And the energy that we are meant to release has to do with the things that we are planting. And anything that gets released in the month of September will actually bring us beneficial plans and guidance to bring something to fruition. So protection this month, higher realm, dealing with the things that you want, going into next month, releasing for fruition. So the more that we release, the more we receive. And so honestly, when it's that time of month, September, coming up to the new moon, I'm releasing everything. I'm releasing everything I don't like to see on Facebook. And I'm releasing, everything. Because the more you release, the more you receive. You don't just have to release your shit. You can start releasing the shit of everything just to get that energy, right? I want my vortex of releasement to be like way outside of myself, right? So a lot of times we have to think outside of ourselves to create more of a channel of power, right? So think about all the things that you would love to release so that you can bring things into fruition. And up until now, the 13th or the 20th, I keep thinking it's the 13th, but the 20th of the month, we were connected to receive energy that has to do with healing. So we've been put in a healing mode. And I love that about August. Now, do I have it marked? When is that? I gotta look at when my full moon is in August. I don't have my day timer, or September's full moon, just so I know where to stop. September full moon. Okay, when is it? September 10th. So yes, I do want to go a little further with this. So September 10th is the next full moon. Let me put my keyboard there. And we are also being prepared for the fall equinox, right? Oh yeah, I can't do it because I'm not going to be doing this on the next full moon. Or the next class is your last class. So I have to do this. So September, write down, has to do with abundance in our own life. And we have to start thinking of ways to develop it, right? Harvest is always about the abundance and the growth we want to receive. And so September is about foresight. Our intuition gives us flashes of the future. So really release all the shit like you do on your full moon, but write like papers full and you will receive more clarity for your intuition, right? And this September and the Mabon, right? The fall equinox and the harvest moon, they all represent the duality of nature. They all represent life and death. But it also represents our second harvest, especially when it comes to our magical workings up until now, starting from last Halloween, last Samhain. So this moon in September that we're coming to, and I'm not going to get to see you unless you're at the full moon ceremony, reminds us of the goddess and how her period of mourning coincides with nature's decline. So as soon as we hit the September full moon, we start to descend. Okay. And we go into our dark aspect. So many losses start to take place in September, but there's also many new beginnings. And even though this happens, life's events are more balanced because this is the duality of life and death. And that's one reason why it's important to place a protection over your home and the people you love before we get into September, because the reapers are out. You start to see more shadow creatures out there, grim reapers. And I'm not trying to cause you fear because they're always around, but it's just this is a time where this is a time where they go from one realm to another. So they're collecting spirits. The gateway to life and death is open. And this is also the time where spirits start to get into their place of transformation, right? Or the spirits that are in limbo. So I could go on forever about this time in the spirit world, but I'm not going to. And I think I have to do a spirit world class. So maybe I'll do that in October. October, I'm lighting it all up. So going into magic with September, it does have to do with cleansing and new beginnings. It's about preparing for life. Okay. And it's about honoring our power. So there's death and rebirth in all of our magical power. When you light a candle for magic, you're putting an end to what you don't want to deal with, and you're putting in an invocation or an evocation to what you want to create. So you've been doing this all along. When you do your cleansing, you have this power. So honor your power of life and death and the things that you choose to put an end to up until a September moon, and honor the things you want to bring life to. But we are coming out of a place of where we are receiving. This is our last month to receive, and then we descend. So start calling that shit in because shadow work starts soon. The other thing is we are also going to be doing a full moon, like our full moon does have to do with protection in September. It teaches us to be delighted with good fortune. So if you're stressed about finances, September is the month where you want your money to become your friend. And I will actually talk to my money. I'll open up my bank account on my computer and I talk to my money like it's my friend. And I say, it's just not enough for me this year. You've done good. I've seen some growth, but can we double it? And I start to create in September. I may sound nuts, but I create a new relationship with my money every year. I let my earth element know what I appreciated and where I still want to go. So let me put a note down on this month doing that for you guys too. Because when I do it for myself, I'll make sure you get some too. You can do it as well. The way I do it and try it, you might like it. Okay, let me make a note so I don't forget. So what did I just say I was doing? Oh my God. Money protection. And then next step in my success. Right? Just like everything in life, we want our health to get better and our finances to get better and everything else. So get ready for spending time into your own life and environment for transformation. And this is our last month to receive as much as we want. So consider your abundance in your life and ask for more. Okay. Let's go into initiations because I want to prepare you for that. And the initiations that I'm talking to you about is something that I was also brought into. So this is how I was initiated as well. And you'll be able to do when you, as a high priestess, you want to teach your magic. You have your first Wicca or your magic level 1, then you want to do your priestess. And as a high priestess, you can train all these levels, but you will have to perform initiations. And each time you're initiated, it represents walking into another phase of life. So your first initiation, first degree, your first year of training represents yourself as the maiden. Okay. When you get into your second as a priestess, your initiation goes into a connection with the earth mother. Okay. Or the moon goddess. Okay. Now you're going into the third. So this is quite serious. Now you are descending the goddess. Okay. In all of her forms. But because you're getting initiated at this time, most likely it'll be connected to the crone. So the crone is the magic of the fall. So take note on that when you're doing initiations, your own and others, you are connecting to the goddess in different ways. Okay. And of course, if it was a male god, it would be the horned god, right? The sage and the young horned god, stag, horned god. When is the old guy? Any of the gods you want to call. So I don't know. Mine is always Cernunnos. My gods. Oh, my gods are Cernunnos. I like Pan, Bacchus, Odin. I like all the hardcore gods. Hardcore sexy gods. I don't want no Jesus in heaven. Like the heaven, Christianity's heaven sounds like hell to me. Like, what? You can't have sex before marriage? What? You can't drink? You can't party? Nah, that sounds like hell. So I know as soon as I heard what their heaven was all about, I was like, oh, it's not my heaven. That sounds like hell. Ah, I'm pure evil. I love it. Okay, so let's go into um the initiations. So I'm going to go over first, second, and third. Now, whenever you are doing initiation ceremonies, of course, you want to cast a circle in all of them. And with your altar, you want to have 2 altar candles. And I used to do silver and gold for God and Goddess. But you can do black and white is traditional, 2 whites. Maybe timing of the year, maybe you do 1 red, 1 white, but you want to do one that represents God, one represents Goddess. You also want a bowl of water, salt. You want a pentacle on the altar. Of course, incense. A dagger is traditional, athame. A bell, as well as a candle snuffer, right? Some people will use a sword instead of an athame, but you want all elements on the table. And once it's all there, you do want to hold your hands out and say, let all of this be fit to enter into the presence of the gods. See, initiation is about giving yourself to your next level and your connection to the gods, right? But the gods, it's not like religion. You're not meant to be like all godly and a follower. It's about your life, and your life is the god or the goddess. You're the divine one, right? So then initiation is usually in the dark. Okay, it starts in the dark. And then when you feel like it's right, that's when you light the candle. So initiations always start candles out. You light the candle and you say, I light this candle in the name of the ancient ones, which is, was, and ever shall be, male, female, all knowing, all powerful, and present everywhere. Now, some people might not like the male female thing in there, but it is an aspect of nature in all of us. So you can, of course, change it however you want. And then you say, so you want to write this down in your book of shadows. And this is for all of the initiations. And in the name of the 4 mighty ones, the guardians of the elements, may power and blessing descend in this hour, in this place, and all those gathered here. And that is the start of the descend. You want to light the 2 altar candles and your incense. In the initiation ceremony, you have to do the exorcism of water. So you want to perform an exorcism. And some people do this during the ceremony. I used to. Or you can do it before. I've done both. So a lot of times I'll prepare before. It depends on the group and the time. Of course, you hold your left hand over the water, and a lot of people will also hold their pentacle over the water. And traditionally, holding the pentacle over your bowl of water was the ancient way of purifying it and making it holy. So they would hold their bowl of water with their right, take their pentacle, and they would dip it into the water. Or they could use their sword, their wand. You can use your blessing fingers and say, I exorcise this creature of water. And I cast out from it all impurities and uncleanliness of the world of phantasm. We are clearing it from spirit. There's no phantoms in there. There's no negativity. There's nothing. And then I always, for me, in the names of Cernunnos and Hecate, or whatever god and goddess you want, in the names of the god and goddess. Okay. Now, some people traditionally would do the blessing of the salt the same way. They would hold their salt, dip the pentacle. You don't have to do that, because the blessing of the salt, remember, in the old days, they always casted their circle with salt. We don't do that as much. We're not sprinkling our circle of salt every time. But if you want to do it, it's traditional. So take your salt, dip your athame or your pentacle or your tip of your wand, your blessing fingers, and say blessings upon the creature of salt, that all sickness and hindrance is cast from thee, and let all good enter within. I do bless and consecrate thee. May the gods and the goddess aid me. And that's pretty much all you have to do. You'll feel, when you do an exorcism on your salt or your water, you'll feel the change of it. Okay. Of course, that's when you cast the circle. You want to exercise. Whenever you do an exorcism, you want to do it before you cast the circle, and then cast the circle. Even when you're doing an evil house, right? Do your exorcism water and salt, get it ready, cast the circle, and then start the banishing. So cast your circle, and that's with all 1, 2, and 3. And of course, we want to call in the elements. So I, Georgina, daughter of the Shining Ones, call the element of earth, right? So do your elements, and then you start the initiation. So from this point is where the initiations change, okay? And of course, when we close the circle, it's going to be the same. But the first initiation, which is also known as descent of the goddess, this represents you, or the person you're initiating, becoming and co-creating with the goddess for a year. Is usually a year and a day, which actually represents 13 moons. Sometimes it's a blue moon, sometimes it's a black moon, death moon, whatever. So there's 13 moons in a 12-month period. And you're representing the goddess in that time. In the first initiation, we say, she who will portray the goddess removes her necklace and places upon it the altar. And we would take her necklace and put it on the altar. Now, the altar, whenever we wear a beautiful necklace for the full moon, and that's why a lot of people like to wear the moonstone pendants, or if you have something special, even it's the pentagram, the necklace represents the goddess in your magic. Okay, so you always want to have a necklace to wear, and her power goes into that necklace. And after that, you put the necklace on the altar, and he who will portray the god, the horned god, will put down their crown, or whatever it is you want to use as a horned god. Some people will just use a wooden wand, right? Or a stone of some kind. So we want to portray the god and the goddess within us. And in ancient times, the horned one was and still is the consoler and the comforter. But men fear him as the dreaded Lord of Shadows. But when we need comfort, we should be calling in the God. Think about it, as a woman, we seek comfort in our grandfathers and our husbands, right? The male. So know that when you need to seek comfort, you can use a candle and call in the power of the God. So let's do that. Okay. So let me do a God invocation. Before, actually, should I just finish this first? But I really wanted to do the God. What do I do? Okay. So so remember that the God and the goddess represent all the worlds, right? They journey, as we journey to the underworld to communicate with the gods and the goddesses of the underworld. They are the mystery of death, right? The goddess is the mystery of our powers, of the occult, of the moon. Why do we praise the moon? Because it manifests our power. And so one reason why we do the full moons. Yes, we can release and call in, but when we do magic, our higher self comes into this realm. How powerful is magic? It's not us, it's the higher self saying, that's what I want to have in this world through you. So the God and the goddesses and the spirits that work our magic with us, the elementals or the spirit guides or whoever it is that's answering your prayers and answering your spells, they are all portals of power. They can strip off anything that is not for our highest good. Okay. So when we are dealing with things, you would need to call into the spirit world. So the first initiation, what we say is we call forth, strip off everything that is impure and send it into the realms of death. And then you would say, blessed be my feet or their feet, whoever you're initiating, that have brought me in these ways. Abide with me, but let my place be cold, my hand and my heart. And love thee not. Cast out all things that I love and I delight into the spirit world. And again, you're casting out everything into the spirit world for them to manifest for you. And then in the initiation, as we're releasing, you're feeding death. So initiations, when you're releasing and getting prepared for it, you're actually feeding the power of death in a beautiful way. So that is the first initiation and what it represents, the first descent, the first release. And it's meant to teach us our mysteries, a year and a day, your perfect life, right? What it is. What has that year taught you? What was your mystery? What was your sacred cup? What did you receive? What was your rebirth? So now let's do the great invocation, because it is actually next of the God. And normally the men would read this and do it. But if you don't have a male in your circle, you get to do it. So I want you to do a candle, put it in your hand, left hand, and we're going to say this together. Now, we all have looked at the candles for the goddess, right? You know how to look for her in the candle flame. Tonight, I want you to look for a god. Okay. And it is quite different, but they're around. So hold a candle and we'll say it. Okay. You can repeat after me or listen one ear out the other. but this is a great god, Cernunnos. This is one I was initiated with. And the high priestess, which is you, would say, great god Cernunnos, return to earth again. Come at my call, and show myself thyself to men. Shepherd of goats, and you'll notice that a lot of the horned gods are half goat and half man. From the darkness into the day, forgotten are the ways of the sleep and night. Men seek for them whose eyes have lost the light. Open the door that has no key, the door of dreams, where men come to thee. O mighty stag, answer to me. So let's light our candle. And you want to take note. Now you've pretty much always lit female goddess candle. How does the god one light for you? And you want to look at the color. See how orange and yellow and red a lot of times represent male spirit. So if you see orange, red aura, male spirit, male energy. Okay. And just look at the wick area like you're looking for the goddess. I already see the goddess. Now I have to try to see the male. And when you see the god in the candle, a lot of times he kind of looks like a wooded spirit. So it's like he'll have a vest on. And a lot of times we'll see him turn to his side. So he'll wear like a vest and trousers and a shirt. And you may have to turn your candle. See, I gotta turn mine sometimes, like almost like I'm looking. You might have to turn your candle and see how the image changes. So with the God energy, we get more of a head than a cloaked woman. And if you don't see a God, that's okay. It took me years to see the God energy because I had a male thing going on. Right? A lot of people that experience problems with males have trouble seeing that at first. Actually, when I started my magic, the God was like not even part of my magic for the first year. I was like all goddess. And then I was like, okay, I have to get into connecting with the God. And it worked. And I had better results. So you do always want to have the God and the goddess involved. So the first degree initiation represents, like I said, your first descent and connection to the spirit world. Now we're getting into the second degree initiation. So now you're even going deeper and more connected to the second degree. First degree symbol is always the pentacle. So you can use the pentacle or the pentagram. And the second degree is the crescent moon. So people who wear the crescent moon, traditionally, that was the symbol of a priestess. Now it's like part of tattoo world. And the third degree, the sign of a high priestess, is the triple moon. So if you have the triple moon tattoo, that's how we would recognize what level people were. Nowadays, it's like, oh, are you a high priestess? What's that? Well, I see your triple moon tattoo. But in the old days, that's how it was. So the triple moon represents high priestess. Let's go into the priestess, second degree. So the second degree is a little bit more powerful, I find, because you are now connecting as and walking as a priestess, right? So you do gain more power as that. For the priestess altar, you do want to add a 9-foot cord. And traditionally it was a red cord. We would do a 9-foot red cord and a short white cord. And what we would do, and I still have my cords, but you take that cord and you would tie a knot at different levels. So I would tie a knot at their crown. I would tie a knot at their throat chakra. I would tie a knot at their heart, and then I would tie a knot at their root. Some people do all 7 knots. Some people do 9 knots. So we knot our people we're initiating. And if they decided they didn't want to be part of the coven, we would give them their cord. They would burn it, untie it, whatever. So I actually have a trunk full of cords that represent some of my coven members. So you use a cord and you would tie it to represent each area. And then the high priestess keeps that. So each member of the coven, you would have a cord for if they were initiated as a priestess. And of course, you cast a circle. But what you want to say is in the ceremony is, let me get there. So what you would want to say is under other religions, people kneel while the priest towers above. But in the art of magic, we are taught to be humble, and we kneel to welcome the god and the goddess. And we say, "Blessed be by my feet," or "thy," if you're doing someone else, "that has brought me to this way. Blessed are my knees, that I can kneel at the sacred altar. Blessed is my womb," or the phallus, if it's a he, "without which we would not be. And blessed be thy heart," or thy breasts, "formed in strength. And blessed be our lips," right? We seal our magic with our kiss. So blessed be thy lips, shall we utter the sacred words. And that's it. So the second one is about that blessing. And of course, you can do the knots. So when I got my initiation, they knotted me and they would say to me, "Before you are sworn, are you ready to pass this initiation and be purified?" And I would say, "I am." And then they would say, "Aided by another witch, I had to kneel and I had to have my head and shoulders bowed forward, and they would do my cord. And they would actually I had to bound my feet. Nowadays, people don't do that stuff, but they bound my feet at my ankles, and then they would ring the bell and say 3. And then I got scored. So a scourge is like a whip with 9 tails. And they would whip. Now some covens kiss. So everything I just said, "Blessed be thy feet," some people would kiss it in the old days. I got whipped. But when you get whipped with a scourge, it doesn't hurt at all. It's like you could whip it like, but it feels so nice, right? So it's kind of like a smudge, right? But magically. So I'd get my whip, and then they would say 7, 9, 21, and they would hit me with a scourge, and they would hit my crown, my third eye, my throat, my heart, and that was it. Why did they say those numbers? I have no clue. But that was the tradition, and that's what we did to each other, and we still do. In the second degree, when you're getting initiated, it is nice to have the wine and the drink, or the food and the wine. So I do like to have that, a food and a wine, and I do the offering. And then the only thing you want to say is this true? Is this the true witch's power? And how do you enter the circle? You always want to say perfect love and perfect trust. That's the password. And then they'll ask you, are you prepared to honor the goddess on your second path? And you would say yes or no. Pretty simple. Okay. So that is a second degree. Same thing, but you use a cord and tie them. Now we're into your initiation. So your initiation represents the legend of the descent of the goddess. And generally, when you become an initiate of the high priestess, you are actually also considered a hierophant. So the hierophant, if you look at the hierophant in the tarot cards, they're like a high priest. And it's because the hierophant will act through you with appropriate guidance. So your initiation of the third degree, this is how it'll go. And I'm going to do this so that you know what to expect. So we are going to have an initiation ceremony, and then I'm going to send you, if you are coming to a full moon or doing it Samhain, there's going to be 2 different things. So let me know if you want to get full moon would be October. So you would be initiated in October on the full moon, or during the Samhain, which is kind of traditional. So you can pick. So let's do the third degree. So the initiation of the third degree actually goes back to ancient Egyptian magic. So I will be there. And of course, I will be facing south for your initiation because it represents the god Osiris, the horned god, all our gods. And I will also say fire. I proceed with this initiation rite. I must beg for your purification of my hands. And I will take my hands and purify myself. And I do that before I start with you. Some people would purify themselves with another red cord, or you can use cauldron. I use a candle, represent the south. I'm going to ask you, here you are with the powers of the east, the south, the west, and the north, and consecrated by the holy night. As a high priestess and with the witch queen, goddess, everything is properly prepared. And now I begin. I must beg for you to be purified. So I will ask you, are you ready to be purified into the great mystery? And you have to say, yes, I am now ready for my next great mystery. So yes, I'm ready for my next great mystery. Make sure you say great mystery, not just mystery, great mystery. Then after that, I will ask you to perform the fivefold salute. And that is a fivefold kisses, what we just went through. So you will need to touch your feet. When you touch your feet with your blessing fingers, make sure you touch the inside of your feet where your soles are. So you will say, blessed be my feet. And I'll tell you, right? Blessed be your feet. And we both do it. And then blessed be our womb. So you want to go like this and put it right on your belly. So your belly button will be in this. Okay. And when you do that, I will say, blessed be your womb. And then as you're holding your hands on your belly button, I will say, assist me to erect the ancient power at which in the days past and worshipped, this great altar of all things, which is your womb, in old times, women were the altar. And this altar is made and placed. And at the sacred point is the point at which the center of the circle has been taught that the point within the center is the origin of all things. Therefore, you should adore it. Therefore, you should also invoke it. By the power of the god and the goddess in the circle of the stars, where our Father is but younger, and our imagination is the soul of infinite space. In this time, I understand darkness and I understand light, that you will attain the image of love. And therefore, by seed and root, by stem and bud, by leaf and flower and fruit, I invoke you, you, queen of your space, power of light, continuous and connected to the heavens. And then from there, you need to kiss your heart, connected to the heavens, kiss your heart. Let it ever be. Let it ever be. So I'm trying to remember this. Let it ever be that men speak not of thee as one, but as none. And let them not speak of thee at all, since thou is continuous. For there is a point in the circle which you adore, the fountain of life, without which would not be. And in this way, you erect the holy twin towers. Those holy twin towers represent the black and the white towers in the High Priestess card. And in beauty and in strength, you are erected to the wonder and the glory of the power of the gods and of men. And so that is what I will read to you. Here's the end of it. So I'm going to get you to hold a candle. This one's lit, but have a candle for your initiation. And the only thing you have to do is say after me, "O secret of secrets that are hidden in all being and in all lives, not that we adore, but which adore is also thou." Little confusing, but that's what it is. I and thou art that, and that I am. I am the flame that burns in the heart of my life, and in the cone of every star. I am life, and I am the giver of life. And yet, therefore, the knowledge of me knowing life, I know death. I'm alone. And the Lord and the lady within ourselves is named the mystery of mysteries. How confusing is that? Really? Now, when I was initiated, I was like, I didn't even really know what all this stuff really meant. As you teach it and as you do it, and over 20 years, you do get different meanings. So as people join your circle, or as you're initiating yourself, you might initiate yourself more than once. You might say, you know what, I want to do my level 2 again. And you have all the work, you have the videos, you can do it. You can do that and reinitiate yourself. That is your 3rd degree. Then at the end, all I say is the lords of the watchtowers of the east, south, west, and north, the thrice consecrated high priestess now greets you. I bless you and I thank you. So mote it be. And then you guys, ladies, would say, so mote it be. And you are there now, initiated. So just know that when you do get initiated, you are now declared as an intention to become one of us. Okay. You also are declaring yourself to become one with the gods and the goddess, to hear without knowing, right? You're opening yourself up to a single race, right? Spirituality, half the spirits that are doing our magic don't have a race, right? We know the spirits of our grandfathers and our sisters and whoever is on the other side. But most of the spirits that are doing our bidding don't have sex. And as a high priestess, every single man is going to reflect around you, whether they're your partner or your boss. They are going to give you reflections of the power of God. You'll be able to see the God in those men around you, different aspects of them. But this power will become everything and around you. So be open to your connection to the universe. God, the power of God and the goddess are around you. And even though you may not know what your end goal is by the end of the day or by the end into the night, your spirits do. Every single day has a purpose. So stay on track. And as a power of a high priestess, abide by that law, that beyond the spring of night and beyond the heavens and your mastery, there is a domain, a world of gods, of spirits. And those that who can connect to those actually pass through the gates of night and day to a place that is between the worlds of men, between the domains of the lords. We actually go into this space that is sacred. And unless there is a truth of in your heart, right? Don't do magic if there's nothing in your heart. You have to have heart. That is the law. Hear then the law, that thou hast love for all things in nature, that you walk humbly in the ways of our world, in the ways of men, and in the ways of the gods. So don't just walk humbly in the world of men. Walk humbly with the world of the gods. And that is law, that your contentment will teach you, and you will belong to the spirit world and the things that you want. So when you're initiated, you walk with all worlds. You got your foot in the spirit world, in the upper world, in the underworld. Like, it's like, but when you're initiated, that spirit world gets to know you. Okay, think about I know we're done, but just think about that before we go. For me, I know that the spirit world knows me, just like this world, right? People know Mystic or they know Georgina. Spirit world knows me. I get spirits that are coming to me waiting for people to get their message. Okay. As soon as someone books a reading, here comes spirit, right? We do walk in those worlds. And to me, the spirit world is more than I'm more connected to the spirit world than I am in this world. I honestly believe that. I love it. So walk your world as if you're walking with the gods. So what I was saying is when you are initiated, the spirit world gets that peak of you. It's like all of a sudden they see you in the spirit world. The spirit worlds I'm talking about are upper and under, not this one, not middle earth spirit. So pay attention to this next year. Even if you're ending class, next class is the end. I want to make it fun and special, but I do want to make sure that you are walking this world connected to your path and your purpose. And know that every time you feed a passion, every time you pull a card, every time you give someone advice, that is your purpose. Your purpose is in the day. You're the generator. Okay. So let's pull a card on our magic through this month. Get ready to release, release, release. You know, I would even go around my house and I'd be like, hey Brett, what would you like to release? As if you could release anything in the world. I mean, I honestly release, get that energy clean. The more you release, the more you get. That's what I love about September. I used to do like house clearing specials because I wanted my portal of cleansing to be like So for the magic of this month, I got reconciliation. So something from the past is going to come up or a situation that needs closing. So that fits with a death and rebirth, but also prosperity. So we got money coming in this month and trust. Trust where you're at. Get your ideas. This is a month where you get good ideas that can make you prosperous for the next year. So what is it that you are meant to do that will be fun, that will be easy, and go for it. Just get yourself up there. You'll never get knocked down. Okay. So I'm going to let you go. This is going to be up tomorrow. And then make sure you tell me whether you want to be, if your class is done, I'm going to contact, I know everyone's kind of at different levels, but those who are finished next month, they're going to get the initiation things that they got to do. Okay. And I'll let you go. So listen to this again, put those things in your book, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye. Take care.